Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you for joining us in worship, those of you who were with us yesterday, and for the feedback that you've been giving on these morning devotionals. I'm glad it's being of help and hopefully of comfort to folk during this difficult time. Just to remind you as well, we will plan to do Easter services in the same way that we've been doing some. So we'll put stuff up for Palm Sunday. We're going to try and do something a wee bit different for Good Friday, and we'll keep you posted on what that's going to look like. And then Easter Sunday as well, when we celebrate the risen Christ in a different way this year. Also, just can I say to you that over the weekend, the four main church leaders have issued a call to prayer for the whole church across Ireland, and that will be on Palm Sunday, Sunday coming. And they're designating from 3 to 4 for people simply to pray for the situation. And again, there'll be more details of that coming out over the course of this week. This morning, we're reading from Psalm 127, and this is what it says. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labour in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for he gives to his beloved sleep. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. He shall not be put to shame when he speaks with his enemies in the gate. It's Monday. It's the start of what would normally be the working week. In theory, it's the last week of the term at school, although the last week of term happened a week or so ago. And so we've seen the impact of this virus of COVID-19 on workplaces in all kinds of ways. People working from home, people learning slowly how to use Zoom and other apps for meeting together, people homeschooling their kids and finding that an interesting challenge, and also of course people going to work in places where there is now added risk, in our hospitals, in our shops, in our surgeries and pharmacies. And longer term, who knows what this crisis will look like for our working lives. The issues of unemployment and the economic consequences of all of this are still to be worked out and understood. And then there's the issue of identity, because for a lot of us, who we are is tied up in what we do. And so who are we when we're not working, or when we're working in a different way? And one of the key things that this crisis has done for us in terms of our workplace or our working lives has been to dispel the illusion that somehow we can work our way into a place of self-sufficiency where we don't need anybody else but ourselves and our work. The psalm that we've just read reminds us that all that we do, all that we busy ourselves with, all that we fill our lives and our days with, all of it is in vain unless the Lord is in the center of it, unless the Lord builds the house. And so whenever we think of work, and whether that's paid work or work at home, whenever we think of work, we need to reevaluate it all and get it in the right perspective. We need to see that the Lord needs to be at the center of it. We need to reevaluate the relationship between work and rest, and understand that actually God gives us rest. He says in the psalm, he gives to his beloved sleep. Rest is just as important. And so perhaps this time is time for us to think about, well, what was my working life really like? And how did I prioritize it over time with family or over rest time. Perhaps it's time to look at what works for and to reinstate the importance of relationship over profit or status or advancement. Begin to get a new perspective on life and work and how they fit together. Because ultimately God has not made us to make money, and He hasn't made us to grow a business, or He hasn't made us to busy ourselves with all of these things. He's made us for relationship with one another, and ultimately relationship with Him. The end of the psalm talks about children being a heritage from the Lord, and what the psalmist is getting at here is not necessarily just people who have children, but what he's talking about is that importance of relationship, that importance of having others around us, of being able to say, these are the people in whose lives I have an impact. These are the people who are better off because I'm around. In one of my favourite films, It's a Wonderful Life, at the very end of it, the message is given that no man is a failure who has friends. And so when we think about what we do in our work or in our homes, we should be thinking, how does what I do contribute to the well-being of others? How does what I do show a response to God's love for me in Christ? How does what I do serve as a witness to Him? How will what you do today, even in self-isolation or in lockdown, serve as a witness to God, who loves you and made you for relationship with Him and with others? God bless today. Keep safe, and if there's anything that folk need in church, please do get in touch. We are there to try and help you as best we can. Take care. God bless.